Hey, look, I'm helping, said little Ralphie doing this. What does that do? What does that accomplish? Well, a lot, according to the corporate media that is now cheering the praises of the LA riots that are burning down cars in a fire zone where there was a major fire before. Yeah, the situation is just absolutely ridiculous. Expected to get a lot more ridiculous as, of course, we have the latest developments from all the politicians involved here, including Gavin Newsom, the mayor of LA, that has a lot of very interesting ties to communists. Members of Congress coming in there trying to get their 2 minutes of fame. And as this situation kind of devolves here, the one single issue still remains clear. It's that LA, California, and the communist state that it represents does not want Donald Trump to conduct any type of deportations. Will they be able to get their way through these protests? We're going to see, as that's what we're going to be discussing in this video, plus a lot more, as there's some very interesting conspiracies about who's really behind these protests here. As of course, we saw once again very crazy, wild videos from California. This now specifically the most visceral documentation of yesterday's events, where police officers were under an overpass for some strange reason, and they allowed protesters to throw rocks and electric scooters at their vehicles. There was even explosives being thrown at police officers on horse units, and the LAPD reported being overwhelmed here as ABC reporters were telling people, oh yeah, it's just a bunch of people having fun watching cars. The police officers are the one causing problems here. This is footage, and I kid you not, from an ABC News reporter that had to say this about this endeavor.
A group of people, it could turn very volatile if you move law enforcement in there in the wrong way and turn what is just a bunch of people having fun watching cars burn into a massive confrontation and altercation between officers and demonstrators.
Yeah, those police officers better not escalate the situation and allow those fun people just to watch those fireworks there and watch private civilian cars go on fire. Huh? How does that make sense? It doesn't. It's ridiculous, insane type of reporting. As of course, we are in riot season once again. As the characterization of everything unfolding here is very eye-opening. As the Telegraph writes, these protests are more disruptive and powerful than BLM or Save Gaza. The resistance has arrived. They're literally just looting and burning down their neighborhoods. And of course, we have a lot of politically charged images, like this one, showing a child who, for some reason, was brought to these very violent, crazy protests where people were burning down, destroying private property, vandalizing, and starting fights with police officers. A child that was hit with tear gas that the police deployed in order to deal with the violent mob. I don't know why you would bring a kid to a violent mob type of scenario. And then this kid was affected by it, and then they, of course, were washing off his face with the Mexican flag. As some people like Tim Pool are saying, charge the mom for bringing a kid to a riot. And that's exactly what it was here. You could even see in a lot of these videos, you know, when you see on the ground reporters that are there that don't get attacked, independent reporters are getting attacked, by the way, trying to report on this entire saga and situation. One of the reasons why, of course, we're not there, we don't have the security. I don't want to put anyone's life in danger in order to report on this. We used to report on this type of stuff, but then they started to specifically target us. But you see people specifically burning the American flag and waving the Mexican flag and saying, F the American flag, I pledge allegiance to Mexico and nobody else, as they're mad about being sent back to Mexico. And yeah, I love Mexico. Mexico's a great place. But with these riots, we have seen police officers fail once again to contain the situation, as now there's reports of police shortages, police officers being overwhelmed, police officers not being allocated enough resources. Who would have thought here that, the National Guard could, of course, be deployed once again. Now, troops have been deployed in order to help deal with some of the unrest. Some of the unrest that's going to be escalating and growing from here, as we have the mayor of LA announcing that they demand to know the next ICE raid. And if they don't know, there's going to be, quote, trouble, essentially alluding how there's going to be more property destruction. As, of course, this is video of some of the people's personal cars out there that were just burned. Lots of Waymos, AI self-driving cars, were also damaged and decimated and burnt down in Los Angeles, as Forbes is reporting that Waymo is now temporarily suspending their service for downtown LA, as the company told Forbes that several of their robo-taxis were set on fire. As, of course, this probably won't be the last type of interaction between the technocratic AI digital space and just insane amounts of violence and property destruction that are probably going to be escalating from here into the coming months for the summer of 2025. Now, some of the videos that we see in here are just wild. Before playing those videos and talking about what Donald Trump is saying, what all these other politicians are saying, we wanted to tell you about wearechange.shop, one of the best shops out there on the market. And Father's Day is coming up. You can still get your Father's Day bundle. We're going to be shipping it out as soon as possible. And it's a great bundle. We got a lot of really great products. You save $55 by buying this bundle. We put it in a nice package, so you literally just get to put your name on it. You take off the shipping label on the back. It's really nice. It's pretty. It's cool. And you get to not have to do any kind of work or due diligence there. We made sure you could give your father figure or father in your life the gift of health. We gave him some ashwagandha because we all need a big boost, specifically when it comes to testosterone. Lots of people have very low testosterone. Fish oil is really good for the heart and brain. Magnesium mist, good for sore muscles, good for just magnesium intake. Lots of people have a hard time taking in magnesium. Lots of people are deficient in magnesium. And then, of course, we also have a funny hat. All of that available right now on wearechange.shop. The link is down in the description below. Click it and get it while supplies last here. Now, yesterday we saw wild videos, and again, this is going to be the new norm. As LAPD officers really put themselves in just a very strange kind of position. If you're the police officers, right? You're like, oh yeah, hey, they're attacking all of our cars. They're lighting them on fire and throwing rocks at us. Hey, let's go underneath all of them. Great idea. Let's go. Why? Why would you do that? That's just either dumb or not smart. And they just park their vehicles and they're like, oh, yeah, we're underneath the underpass. They throw stuff at us. Let's make it easier for them. What? Not a very calculated, not a very smart move as protesters gathered around them and then just started rocks and started throwing scooters on them. There's also reports of businesses being looted. There's also a lot of fake news out there, too, which you got to be careful of, as we have a lot of people just taking their favorite kind of enemy and saying they're responsible for all of this, as people are coming out and say, it's Russia, it's China, it's the communists. And again, who's really behind this? We don't know. But it's pretty clear that the state of California doesn't want Trump's immigration policies. They don't want his deportations to happen in his state. And it would be intelligent to kind of look at these events and be like, maybe there's some orchestration. Maybe there's some kind of relationship between some of these left-wing organized protesters and the previous left-wing organized protesting organizers that are now government officials. Like the mayor of LA. I don't know. Maybe there's something, as they are predominantly making sure that Trump's immigration policies are not implemented. They are, of course, trying to skirt federal law and skirt the policy decisions and the initiatives that Donald Trump wants to initiate. As, of course, California, specifically LA, described itself as a sanctuary city. Now, once they get a whole bunch of people to come in illegally through the border, they get more congressional representation, even if those people are not citizens. And the government there wants more congressional representation. As, of course, we saw crazy Maxine Waters out there. She was walking around trying to make sure that her constituents get to stay. And she wants to make sure her job gets kept there, as of course she's on the doll, as now Trump's border czar is actually threatening to arrest Gavin Newsom. This is what Gavin Newsom had to say in response to that.
Has been here 10 years. The fear, the horror, the hell is this guy? Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy. You know, I don't give a damn. But I care about my community. I care about this community. The hell are they doing? These guys need to grow up. They need to stop. And we need to push back. And I'm sorry to be so clear, but that kind of bloviating is exhausting. So, Tom, arrest me. Let's go.
The perception is there's a lot.
Yeah, will that actually happen here? Who knows? As Gavin is also, during this key critical time as parts of his city are burning down, is coming out and calling out some of the fake news on Twitter. It's good to know that he's spending his time well, as he says, this video is from 2020, and there are fake videos. Let's just be honest. There are a lot of right-wing accounts that want to make this more of a bigger thing than it actually is, as James would probably post that. But we have Kevin Dalton responding to this, saying, Gavin Newsom wants to be clear that this video is not from 2025 when he let Los Angeles burn, but it's from 2020 when he let Los Angeles burn. Thank you for the clarification there. As LA burns down a lot, very interestingly. Donald Trump released this message, which Elon Musk actually just sent out a couple minutes ago to the general public. It's a little awkward of a situation there. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But Donald Trump says Governor Gavin Newsom and Mayor Bass should apologize to the people of Los Angeles for the absolutely horrible job that they have done. And this now includes the ongoing LA riots. These are not protests. These are troublemakers and insurrectionists. Remember, no masks. And again, Donald Trump decreed no masks. I don't know how he's going to implement that. As the LA mayor, who previously praised Fidel Castro, talked about how the people of LA have a rapid response network to protest and disrupt ICE raids. And she says the city will not calm down unless they know where the next ICE raid is going to be. Why would they do that?
Now the Los Angeles Mayor, Karen Bass. Hi, Mayor. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi.
Hi. So what are
you
and your police force? I know how busy you are preparing for the hours ahead. What are you expecting on that front?
Well, I just have to say that if you dial back time and go to Friday, if immigration raids had not happened here, we would not have the disorder that went on last night. I will tell you.
Yeah, it's Trump's fault. Listen, Trump's carrying out deportations of illegals and criminals. Wrong. You better not do that. You started all this. You made me burn this car down. Why'd you make me do that? That's what Donald Trump promised to do. That's what people elected him to do.
Tell you that it is peaceful now, but we do not know where and when the next raids will be. That is the concern, because people in the city have a rapid response network. If they see ICE, they go out and they protest. And so it's just a recipe for pandemonium that is
that you guys are facilitating and trying to, of course, spur on and create.
Completely unnecessary. Nothing was happening here. Los Angeles was peaceful before Friday. When we find out when and where the other raids are going to happen, that will determine how the police respond.
And then, of course, when you do find out where they are, you're going to let people know, and then they're going to let the people know so the criminals or the illegals won't be able to be captured and deported. That's exactly what you're trying to do here. Obfuscate federal law. Obfuscate the will of the presidency of the United States. And then, of course, here comes Maxine Waters, this crazy unhinged lady who was literally seen walking around federal ICE facilities where they shut the door on her face.
Ma'am, our lobby is secure right now to all visitors.
Excuse me, I need to get in.
Contact our public affairs office.
I need to get in.
She tried to get inside to talk to the president of SEIU. He was detained. She could not get in. The door indeed was slammed in her face. And then here's what she said.
Talk about an insurrection. Oh, my God. Oh, no. She's trying to break and enter into a federal building.
I got to tell you, just
Oh,
moments ago,
no.
there were
We need to automatically get the J6 committee back together. Again, it's just a lot of ridiculous. The Vigilant Fox has an interesting article saying evidence suggests LA riots over ICE raids could be government funded. Who's behind the anti-ICE riots in Los Angeles? Here's the breakdown of the groups, the money, and the people pulling the strings here. And this guy usually does good work. I like following some of his stories here. But when you do look at a lot of these left-wing organizations, it's a lot of Reid Hoffman. It's a lot of Bill Gates. It's a lot of George Soros. It's a lot of the same kind of billionaire players that promote a lot of very radical left-wing socialistic liberal ideas that coalesce with a lot of the government officials that are also supported and put into positions of power, like the district attorney's office, which was able to change the face of law and justice in this country through, of course, George Soros financing it and bankrolling just a few key people in major cities in order to have those positions of power. The Mexican president also came out and is urging Mexicans to protest in the United States, saying specifically, if necessary, we'll mobilize. We don't want taxes on remittances from our fellow countrymen from the United States to Mexico, as Donald Trump has been making a lot of policy initiatives that has perturbed this liberal, woke president of Mexico that the people of Mexico appointed. Now, again, this is important here, as some people are saying this is an act of war. Okay, it's a little bit of a hyperbolic statement to say that, in my opinion. But when we look at a lot of these protests, as Mike Benz points out, the LA riots break out while the mayor has a history of organizing them. He says, quote, "It's crazy. This riot is in LA, where the mayor of LA, Karen Bass, was for 6 years on the board of NED, the CIA cutout that specializes in starting riots and street protests. Before that, she helped the CIA start riots. She was a community organizer, professionally organizing protests," according to Mike Benz here, as Elon Musk responded to that by saying, "Exactly. Huh." As he says, "Hey, Trump world, what the F is the National Endowment for Democracy still getting government funding? Do you like riots? Because this is how you get riots." Yeah, a lot of things that the government has failed to do here under the Trump administration that a lot of people are saying, hey, why couldn't we just check the budget of the Pentagon? Nope, can't do that. I thought that was ridiculous. I was kind of disappointed on that. And I think vast majority of Americans were like, it would be nice. It would be nice if we could, not just get price gouged and have no bid military contracts and just get screwed over with our tax dollars as we're getting more and more into debt. It would be nice if we could just, do a little check and balance on the missing trillions of dollars from the Pentagon. But anyway, I digress here. Immigration is also a very important issue to a lot of right-wingers, and a lot of people are saying Donald Trump's not doing enough, and he sure is facing a lot of resistance for what he is already doing, as, of course, this significantly creates a major problem for federal agencies from being able to conduct their operations further, as this is clearly a disruption effort meant to disrupt Donald Trump's ICE and immigration policy that he wants instituted. As General Flynn said, his attention, examine Antifa's strategy for the summer of 2025. And again, that's just one kind of loose-knit kind of organization here. But he talks about how they want to create chaos, mobilize dissent, disrupt law enforcement operations, and, quote, incite violence. And the left-wing media that is more aligned with these kind of liberal CIA, communistic, woke causes is one of the biggest kind of cheerleaders for it as well. And that's why you saw the media being like, if these people just want to burn cars and watch it, police should just let them. What? Imagine if that was your car. Imagine if you're seeing your car on the news. And then some type of insane person is like, we're going to burn it down. Why? Why are you burning down my car? What did I have to do with this? They should just let them. What? Get the hell out of here. As the LAPD chief admitted that there's a professional activist here, and a lot of people are saying this reeks of a Soros operation. This was brewing for a while. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are also organically out there because they just disagree with Donald Trump. A lot of them believe that L.A. is, quote, stolen land. They either go and say, oh, it's Mexican land. Oh, no, it's Native American land. And they say, it's our land. It's not your land. Get out of here, whitey. As that seems to be the sentiment from all the videos that I'm seeing from on-the-ground reports on there. And it's a little bit of a ridiculous sentiment. But there are people who legitimately are liberal, left, woke, especially in LA, that do believe this. Is this being all orchestrated? I think parts of it are, actually. But we saw this coming, and we said, listen, there's going to be a summer of love. We called it. We were saying it last year. I said Trump wins, massive riots, massive protests during the summer. January, the Luigi thing. Luigi thing was happening in the fall. I was like, this is going to build up to something big here, and it's going to transcend in other actions in more type of protest. And then bada bing, bada boom. That's exactly what we have here. Now, there's a lot of other people extrapolating little tidbits of information here. California, very liberal, very left-wing state here. And Reagan's immigration policies have absolutely wreaked havoc on that state here. And when we see the ramifications of it, you really got to think, man, the federal government, with their policies, with their open border, really did screw up that really beautiful, amazing state. It's sad to see what's happening. Expect more of it. Stay tuned for more. Try to be nice to your father. WeAreChange.shop. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more. All here exclusively on WeAreChange. YouTube.com/WeAreChange.